King Woman Celestial Blues album review. Let's chat about it. King Woman is a doom metal band. They are fronted by the awesome Christina, who she's been all over the place. She has dabbled in a whole lot of different genres. Soul, R&B, even some hip hop at some point. However, this has been the one for me from Christina. This has been the project that's intrigued me the most. This King Woman doom metal and sludge metal project. Their 2015 Doubt EP, for me, really put them on the map as far as modern doom goes. These were dense, plodding, intense tracks that were all fronted by Christina's incredible vocal performances. And then in 2017, they dropped this bad boy, created in the image of suffering. Ended up being one of my favorite metal albums of the year. Not only that, but tracks like Shame and Utopia easily became some of my favorite metal tracks of the year. It was dreary, it was overdramatic, but it was also heavy and just wonderfully performed. Now, I have been dying for some new music from King Woman, and here we are with a new album, Celestial Blues. Let's chat about it. It starts off with its title track, and honestly, I think this freaking rips. I love the prolonged, noisy riff and the wailing vocals that come in. I love the atmosphere on a King Woman project. It's so dreary, it sounds like some doomy funeral dirge, and that's where I like to hear my doom metal. And I love the emphasis on the little details here. For me, I feel like King Woman this time around went for the big album sound. This is a triumphant, wonderful start with some great performances all around. Morningstar, on the other hand, kind of, picks up where the last album ended off. I've loved this track since it first dropped. It's bulky, it's powerful, it's haunting, it is filled with religious imagery, and between the pounding drums and the crashing riff, the hype here is real. And King Woman by now just have this sound down to a T. Golgotha, on the other hand, practically has some Chelsea Wolfe vibes. It has just such a suffocating atmosphere here. I love the whispery guitar line. It's also just really hypnotic, and I feel like this is like the full package from King Woman. This is a real journey here. We get some hellish highs and some gorgeous lows. Also, Entwined is freaking brilliant. The atmosphere on this track, and for most of this album, is just so dreamy and so fluid at that. It never really seems manufactured. It just seems like it came very natural. It has some teeth to it though, because that pacing will come back and bite you on the ass. There's also the tense drumming here and the lapping riff. This track is great. Now we have Christina's performance, which is absolutely chilling from start to finish. I can't help but just sit here and just be amazed. And this track goes well over 6 minutes. Not only that, but this is just the perfect example of a really good risk for this album, because that chorus here, it's grisly, it's much more intense and heavy. And that final minute is just some of the best metal I've heard all year. Psychic Wound, on the other hand, is probably the most straightforward track here, and that's not a bad thing. It's dark, it's got this hazy riff and this hypnotic vocal line. It's all so tense, and it comes off like this fantastic, twisted ritual, yes, please. And from a performance stance, I think this might be Christina's best here. I love how manic and wild she comes off. On the other hand, Ruse is even more slow-paced, more sluggish, more tense, and I didn't even think that was possible at this point. But I love how commanding this track is. It is so intense. But as very heavy as it is and as weirdly psychedelic as this track is, there's also a lot of human elements in it as well, which we get in Christina's lyrics here. It gets downright emotional at times, and I think that's just a really great sound for King Woman. And Paradise Lost, while not the heaviest track here, is a really fantastic atmospheric finale. I mean, this track is dead quiet, but it's really, really effective, and it wraps up this album really nicely. Christina's very chilly, dreamy performance here, the patient drumming, the wispy guitars, it all comes together. There's also just enough haunting melodies to make this track really poppin', really stick with you when it's over. It's a really great atmospheric finale. King Woman are just a really fantastic up-and-coming metal band right now. Now, I will say this, they need to be a little careful, because I feel like they take some risks on this album on a track or two that just don't pan out. Boggs is a little awkward. I don't know, I just feel the pieces are all here on this track. All the elements are fine. Christina's vocals, they're just fine. And the off-kilter pacing, it's actually pretty interesting. But then we have this chorus, and I don't know, I feel like this just doesn't come off very well. We see here as Christina and King Woman are just trying to push out into some more heavy genres on this chorus, and it just kind of falls flat. Like, the atmosphere on this track is actually pretty okay, but I don't know, this just is not my cup of tea. And I have double the feelings of that on Coil. I thought it was going to be so much more into this track, which is how intense this intro is. I mean, it's grimy, it's got this rumbling riff, that's all fine and dandy. But some of the elements of this track are just ugly and just not a good risk, and not in an exciting metal way either. It just may be a little too outside the box. So they've taken risks on other tracks here, and they've come off fine. This just isn't for me. That being said, though, I think King Woman all around have grown on this second album. The playing is heavier, the atmosphere is even more dense, the songwriting is a whole lot better too. Not only that, but there are some human elements to this album that just make things more resonate with you. Now, there are some times where I worry that the band is branching out into a new direction or trying to bite off more they can chew in metal. That worries me, but still, right now, King Woman rule. This album rules. I'm feeling a very decent 8 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.